There you go. You're muted. You're muted. I didn't know it was muted. Okay. All right. Let me know if you can hear me. We're about to get into a very, very powerful message. We did not have a world reading, a live world reading this week, but some things that were found from that session that we did have privately. I want to share with you guys some things that's very auspicious, very, very interesting on what is happening next, guys. So we're going to talk about how the Pope, the passing of the Pope, kind of ended the religious. And I'm really hearing template, the religious timeline. What is going to happen next will shock you guys, and I want everyone to be on high alert, so that we can look out for this. So this is what we're going to talk about today, guys. Pens and piece of paper out today, guys. It might get deep. I'm gonna try not to be on here too long, but y'all know I'm chatty, right? Y'all know that I can talk. I can talk. Hey, welcome. This ancestor wants to say, welcome, welcome, welcome to you guys. She was part of the session, and that's why truly she's here. She was part of the session. Guys, if you notice any changes in her, just let me know throughout this session, because she was holding in a lot of energy. One thing about her, this is, I think it's my great grandmother's. Now, I don't know if she had that before, if someone else had it before her, but it's probably, it's really old. It's really old. So it had a lot of it had a lot of energy, had a lot to say in this session. Guys, so come on in. Let me know if you can hear me. And we got to get into this information. Hi, guys. Hi, Sonia. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Buffalo Wild Wings. And I'm sure the rest of the crew will be in soon. I know I was on here, about 30 minutes ago, but I wanted to just get this one in the can so that I could go about my day and take care of the other things that I need to do. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to lead us in with a little bit. I'm going to lead myself in with a little bit of a meditation. And just, I'm going to say a few words here just to get the energy right, because I have a feeling we're going to be doing conversational channeling, which is my favorite thing to do. You can channel when you're conscious. If you guys have been watching your lessons, right, in the course, we know that you can channel with your body, right? Or you can channel consciously. I'm going to channel consciously. I call it conversational channeling. And then sometimes then the energy just flows in and my whole body just starts channeling, and I become animated and everything just starts to move through me, which is, it's quite cool. It's very cool. Okay, guys, let's start off here. And I'm just going to get the energies right today for this very important meeting of the spirit mind. And I'm setting my intentions to hear from source, opening up a connection through my higher self directly to source, blocking out all other energies. And if there's any other clearing that this ancestor statue needs, any other messages that she's currently holding, I will invite that in for the purpose of clearing and releasing and returning all energies to where they should be. And so it is, and so it is. Okay, so let's start this. So very interesting, guys. You guys know that we have ended one age, the Piscean age, and now we're in the beginning of the age of Aquarius. So we have gone from, remember, the Piscean age was about, if you have the Cosmic Bible, then you will know it was about exploring the God outside of yourself. Cosmic Bible, you can pick this up on Amazon. The links will be down below. The Piscean age was about exploring the God outside of yourself, exploring an energy signature, feeling the magnitude of something external. Now, in this new expanded consciousness, which is the age of Aquarius, it is about returning back to the source waters, the internal waters within. The internal waters, they are your source. They have the intelligent imprints of source. These waters you were birthed with, where did these waters come from? They are from the intelligence of source. So it is about returning back into the waters and being reborn and rebirth of a new creation of expanded consciousness. And now you are tapping into your own records. You're tapping into the God within. Right? That is what this age represents. So when the Pope passed away, and I do believe that he had been gone for some time. I don't believe that the pony show that they showed us was his actual, date of death, but we'll just go with that for now. What this was a smoke alarm. And what Spirit really made me understand with the Pope's passing is that, and I did another channel message about that, and I'll try to link it at some point, is that he feels, and it's not just him, it's a collective, right? He's part of a collective. They feel that he would be better suited in the underworld or the afterlife or the under ocean portals, because we're going to get to that. That came up in the session. Because they have to find another entry point, another portal, because there's only so long we can stay in one age. We stay in an age over 2,100 years, and we experience everything that that age has to offer. So the Piscean age was to experience ourselves outside, experience source or God outside of ourselves. And we did every bit of that. And because, guys, energy is everything. Do you guys know that even the 12 zodiac signs, in a way, these are gods? I call them gods because it's energy that you are kind of forced to live under. And how that really works is you are influenced by them, right? So their influence is here and you're trying to deal with the vibration of all of that. So in a way, it is an external God that you have to visit every month, every time Aries comes around, every time Sagittarius comes around, right? You are under that energy. It's the same thing with the age of Pisces. We are under the energy of religion. So what happened was, how did they create this? Well, they understand what time it is. They understand the changing of the guards. They understand the energies of the ages and the energies of the zodiac. So and I'm going to call it, for the sake of not a better word, I don't know if I'm going to call it evil or the underworld. I think we'll call it the underworld, because it's a multitude of entities or beings or people, not just one. So what the underworld people in the underworld energy understood was that we were going to be dealing with an external thing, an external presence, right? And so what they did was create something external, right? So we went from having, our own internal spiritual practices and human technology to now that being taken from you, right? When we think about going back to ancient Egypt, right? And even ancient Mesopotamia, right? And ancient, Mexico and all of these places, we were dealing with real, true human technology, which was intracellular. It was intracellular, right? And what they did was they understood the energy of the new age, like, hey, we're going to be dealing with external. So let's create something external. So all they did was turn you inside out. And this is how this whole Piscean age was kind of inversion. The whole thing, not just the timelines, it was kind of inverted, right? So they turned you inside out and they took out your spirituality and they siphoned that and put that in religion. And so now your spirituality is being worn and it is presented back to you as if it's something that you need to, to pray for or to hope for or to reach for, when all you must do is align yourself back with your original code. And so this is truly what they did with religion. And so what that would do is it would keep your energy flowing where? Away from you. So they took what was special about you and what was always part of your earth suit, your own human technology and spirituality. They made it external. And so this was a way to siphon your energy. It wasn't about anything else but to remove it from you so that secretly you would always be searching, even though you're like, they're telling you, oh no, you're searching this God or that God or the other. But what you're really searching for is oneness with self. And they knew that you would go and look for it and give them your energy for it. So no matter what religion you ran to, they're all the same. No matter what religion you ran to, they know that what you're truly looking for is to return back home to self, back into the oneness spirit. So this is how they were able to use religion to siphon energy, right? And they got a lot of it. They got a lot of energy and they were able to build whole systems and structures, things that would be put in place to keep pressure and to keep humanity suppressed, and always a gap between themselves and you, right? So this is how they set up religion. It was a huge energy heist. And this is how the underworld energies seated themselves here, and this is how they became above you, is because they understood what time it was. You have to understand what energies you're working with. So for the people who just ignore energy, they are very susceptible to being taken advantage of, because just because you don't want to believe something doesn't mean that it's not happening or that you're not affected by it. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out. So when the Pope passed away, this was a true smoke signal to the underworld, to the entities, the deities, the ones in the underworld. This was a smoke signal. And what I mean by that, it marked the falling away of one energy and the beginning of a new energy. It was truly marking that humanity has awoken to a certain level of consciousness, that energy, that signature, that vibration of that said higher consciousness does not support the old regime, does not support the old program. And so what they felt that they need to do was that we have to bring it down. So this kind of displaying of the Pope passing away was basically them going back into the underbelly to regroup. So this is currently what's happening. They're in the underbelly regrouping, because the old age energy has ended. And so now what? The lights are on and everyone can see clearly the old age. And so they cannot hide within religion anymore. So you will see a huge falling away of religion. This will happen very swiftly. And in the next years to come, there will be so many scandals in the church where something major will happen, and even the governments will shift into supporting churches. They will shift into other things, and we're going to get there, because remember, where do they go? Where do they go? Right? This is what's going on. So I'm not saying that evil is not present, but what I'm saying now is that evil doesn't have a place, a current system to hide in. It's lost that ability, especially for the ones of us that eyes are open, right? It's lost the ability. And so, a lot of people were afraid to step into spirituality because what? You were afraid of what would happen to the external God, your relationship with that, your salvation, right? It's everything that you put all of your trust on and that you believed in, because that's what they told you, that you could only be saved by an external God, when in truth, the God within is infinite. And you come in here with the code of source. It is within your DNA. There's absolutely no way you can be separate from it. The separate, being separate from source is an illusion, because you are source. You are part of the source equation. And even taking out one piece would change source. So you're never going to be without source. I want to let you know that. So this is why a lot of people that were once in the church, they're not afraid anymore to be spiritual, or to hear and listen and to explore these spiritual concepts, right? Which some people will confuse with the new age, but it's not, right? And we're going to get to that. Some people will confuse it because they're thinking that the old age is religion. That's not the old age. The old age was simply just you existing as source, you existing as a multidimensional being, you existing, with all of your faculties and your spiritual gifts and technology turned on and online, right? That is truly the old way, right? And so now these people don't feel that they have to hide, because now they are part of the expanded consciousness. So what I mean is the veil. When everyone's saying the veil is thinning, the veil is thinning. Well, what has the veil truly affected? The veil has truly affected religion. Religion doesn't have a place to hide anymore, because it was not the wanting to do good by humanity and offer you this fictitious thing that you can actually never be separate from. It was simply to put themselves into positions of power where you would always be at their mercy. So you would always be exalting your energy up to them through religion and to them. So they didn't actually have to go and cause any strife to get it. You would willingly give your energy to them. And that's all that they use these external stories for, these external religions for, is to siphon energy from the masses, to fuel and keep their false system going on, and to keep their false kingdom above yours. And that is what I wanted to set that up. So now, going into the session, I started to feel a lot of things, and I started to work with codes, to work with source codes and numbers, right? And source was leading me to, to take the numbers of, like, if you think about the Piscean age was about the fish, right? You'll see that little symbol of like two fish on people's license plate, and basically stands for, when it says in the Bible that God fed a multitude of people with two fish, right? And so I started to take, so I started to take these numbers, right? So the fish, the F would be 6, right? And then what comes before that? Okay, so then E, right? And because I was doing some automatic drawing, and so the letter E came up, but keep in mind, all of this stuff is inverted. So the E stands for 5. And then the G, let me see, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And the G stands for 7. And this is where source led me and wanted me to plug those numbers in to give me a message. So we have 5, 6, 7. Okay. And then what source was telling me is, how they say 666, right, is the devil number. Source was making, even though it's not, but source was bringing this to my attention, that the code that they were using to support their system, the scare tactics, has shifted. So all of the work we've been doing, all of the expansion we've been doing, all of the things we've been reading, all the knowledge we've been seeking has shifted the code. So their original fear tactics with the 666 has been shifted to 567. And so what this means is there's some of us who went into the 7th vibration, which what I've spoke about before is really you mastering the 7 C's. It's you in this expanded consciousness, which is the God 7 energy, right? And believe it or not, there are some people whose actually frequency has been lowered because it is a frequency game. It is energy, frequency, and vibration, but now the frequencies are so potent that they are lowering people, and these people that are downgrading from 6 to 5, I hate to say it, but these are part of, as it explains here in the Cosmic Bible, these are part of the people that will be taken away, that will be consumed, and that the 5-night stampede will devour, because they cannot rise to the frequency. The new frequency is much higher than the old frequency. And so now what this has done is it shifted the code of the 666. So we have now some people that are even lower, because you got them, and we have some people that are now higher. These are the ones of us that are prepping to attune ourselves all collectively to that new creator thought wave, which is actually how we're going to ride the new frequency to get to the new earth, right? So the code has changed, and this was basically source verifying that the code has changed. They can't hide in religion, because we got to think about duality, right? We were heavily weighted on the scale of duality. If there is this enlightened God outside of ourselves, there must be this big bad devil outside of us too. And so the 666 upheld their false system, the false external God. Do you see what I'm saying? How something of a different vibration, of a negative vibration, or rather polarity, upholds the thing that they're offering to poison and siphon energy. So it's very much a backdoor that they went into, right? And so that has been shifted. So the reason why the Pope passing was so important, it represented the ending of this vibration. It represented that the 666 vibration, and that being the foundation for the false, external religious, age or timeline has ended. And because the consciousness of humanity has shifted, some for higher and some for lower, some are just basically downgrading, like being dissolved into the NPCs and being part of the algorithm children that are just controlled by the algorithm, right? And so that is what the passing of the Pope was for. So now they have a problem. So the problem that they're facing is, where do we go now? And this is what I was looking at during this session. Where do they go now that religion is no longer a viable option, because the code of the 666 has shifted, right? So where do they go? Where do they go? So before I want to tell you where they're going to go, I want to tell you what else was found, and which is how this ancestor comes in. So I was tapping into the energy of a template, right? And simultaneously, as I was tapping into the energy of a template, one of my sisters, Angela, spots two sort of like dark spots, I think she said, in the lower chakras. So when she said that, it verified the automatic writing that I was doing. And I saw two little portals, black, like holes in the template. And so when I went into the template, so what we're looking at is, we are looking at the underworld template, right? That's because we've got to think the body is a representation of everything that's happening in the external world. The external world is being reflected by the body and vice versa. The body is so important that they're building external things off of the structure of our bodies, right? Our organs, our chakras, all of our different pathways and everything. Everything external, even the stories and in the movies, they all correlate to chakras, right? Which is a story for another day. But I located these two, and source is really calling them spores, right? These two spores down in the template. And you know what? I'm going to even check to see all the way what that means, spores. Spores, reproductive cells that can develop into new individuals without needing to fuse with another reproductive cell. Wow. Spores, a cell that certain fungi, plants, and bacteria produces. Okay, but this one was interesting. Reproductive cells that can develop into new individuals without needing to fuse with another reproductive cell. So that's very important, guys. And source just ain't never lied. So what they're doing now, they're trying to find a new place to go to hide because religion has fallen, right? They can't hide there anymore to siphon energy. So this is why they went back into the drawing board, back into the underworld. And this is kind of these two openings that I saw in the template was confirmed by what Sister Angela was feeling down in the lower chakras, down in the root. And so technically, what I did, and this is how she comes in, what I did at that point was I went to open up those portals just a little bit so I can see what's inside. So what I'm doing is I'm in the template and I'm opening up these portals very gently, not a lot, just so enough where I can see. Not enough where it can open, just enough where I can see what's going on. And when I started to tap into this template, it was very interesting because this has not happened maybe once before, but in a different way. I couldn't get there into the template like I normally do. And guys, when I'm channeling energy, I don't know how my body will react. I don't know what technology comes up and surfaces to support the message. I don't have planned, okay, there's going to be this being or this, angelic to come through to support the message. I just stay open to see who would like to come through to support the message. And so it was very interesting because at the same time as I was opening up these two little spores or little portals, I was also shielding, right? I was shielding it from, the rest of the group, right? At the same time, so that I could open them up, but it would not affect them, right? And so as I started to take a look, there was an overwhelming energy that filled the space. And I felt this energy before when I was channeling that entity 7. And that was probably last month, that video. But this entity 7 had a dual energy. It was holding the vibration. So when we think about this template, it led me to this template. When we think about the religious template, we think about the number 7, right? 7 heaven, right? And if you fall short, you're one less than perfection, which is the number 6. So everything in this code happens in 3. The universe is coded. This vortex is the vortex that we live in. It's coded by 3s. It looks like a triangle. The triangle has 3 sides. So everything must be 3. And this is why you see the same like numbers, 111, 222. It's not because of anything else that it has to be coded that way, because of the law of the vortex that we live in. So when I opened this up, it was back again, feeling like the 7 again. And the 7 has not only the vibration of God, it also has the polarity vibration, right? Because we live in a vortex which says we have polarities and duality. So me feeling the magnitude of the 7 vibration automatically allows me to interface with the polarity of that. And then it's my decision to attune myself to whatever I want to experience within this polarity system, this duality system. I can attune myself either to the higher vibration of the God 7 or to the lower vibration, right? Of the underworld energy per se. So, but when I first entered the template, I didn't know what it was. But very quickly, I understood, okay, this is that same template that I dealt with a few weeks back. And this is when I started to see all of these things. And also, too, simultaneously, this ancestor was holding a lot of these religious codes, because you have to understand that this thing is very old. And what were we dealing with back then? We were dealing with religion. We were dealing with, hey, you got to get up. And this was in the house when the Sunday services were going on, and when the preacher stopped by, and when you came back from church, and all of these things. So it was holding all of that vibration. So when I opened up the template, that's when I really confirmed that they had been using religion to basically hide, and now they're looking for a new place to go. So as I opened that, it automatically started to open the energy up here. And so it was very strong, but it really got me to see just how malleable the energy is, but not just the energy, but the template within itself. It's not like the template is there, but the energy in the template is malleable, right? It's movable. And it really did express a falling away of one system. But when I tell you how strong the energy is, and guys, you have to understand, when you see evil, when you hear evil, evil has sweet words. I've said this before. If you listen to someone, there's been some pastors and they'll speak like in tongues, right? Which is essentially light language. Some of their tongue sounds very sweet to the ear. It has like a Latin-esque sound to it. This is the sound of something demonic. This is how demonic energies speak. It always sounds sweet. They always look beautiful. The demonic is never going to come in and truly assert itself as just an evil being, when evil beings or they're just at a vibration where they just are what they are. And the awareness to even present as something light maybe is not even in their code, although some do, some are sophisticated and can cloak. But for what I'm talking about is all of the sweet things that we've been experiencing, right, through this past age has been inverted. It's really satanic. It's really of the darkness, but it appears to be the feeling of good and evil. It's a very fine line. So as when I tap into the 7 vibration, simultaneously I can feel the polarity of that. And it's interesting because it doesn't feel bad. It feels good. So all of those systems, and these would be certain governmental systems, school systems, like all of the systems of the old age that felt good at the time, we are seeing them for what they are. And it's part of that template that they were hiding in. And now, because our vibration is higher, we can now see the little nuances in the energy. Because good and evil energy, guys, it feels the same. I'm here to tell you that from someone who does this work a lot. And you have to develop a keen discernment, You have to know how to, and that's what I teach as well, with the series of things that I do, to you can determine a keen discernment, right? So opening that template basically essentially was cleansing this ancestor who had been in religious houses her entire existence. And so that is how she came into place. And so as this object was carrying a lot of the residue from the last age, just imagine how you're carrying a lot of residue, how the other things in your house is carrying the residue. We need to do our spiritual cleaning. We need to clean up the energy from the old age, is what I'm being called to tell you guys in this moment, right? In this moment, because if we are to truly cloak ourselves so that the evil doesn't come to the new timeline, and we're going to get there of where they're going next, because I can tell you what they have their eye on. And I don't know if they're not there already. And now what I'm seeing is there's one portal for them to go in to the darkness. And the other portal that I'm seeing is in the template is for them to go out and to go into the new system that they will be hiding in. Thank you, Source. And this is what I'm seeing now. What I'm seeing now is where they're going. And guys, they are changing code right before our eyes. Those angel numbers you have, they're being changed. I'm telling you, when you started your ascension journey and you start to get certain same like numbers, I'm telling you, those things have shifted too. We have to revisit everything, because some of these things they used to hide in, and that's coming through right now as well. Some of your angel numbers, or some of your numbers where you would identify some of your spirit guides, some of those things have shifted. So if you go back to that same number and you're like, oh, well, yeah, spirit told me I need to do this because I'm getting this number. No, they're different now. Please revisit it. They are different now, because where these energies are trying to go next, they have to see themselves where humanity is. They have to see themselves where the energy is. They want to hide. I was picking up in the new age. The new age, and I'm not even all the way sure of every bit of what the new age is, but it seems to be the love and light that is just love and light, and it doesn't have any other structure to it. It seems to be a light that a light that doesn't have the necessary tools of protection, is what I'm feeling. Right? We always, us as light workers, we always have to account for, it's not that you wish that the evil one comes, but we are always prepared, right? We always are grounded, centered, and shielded to protect our energy and to protect the timeline, right? And so this is where they want to hide. So as of in the new, God within, right? We're talking about the Christ light, the Christ body, right? Which is a total bliss body, is what Source was saying. In this new expanded consciousness, this new earth, right? Vibration that we're moving to, when you really truly are able to center yourself and align yourself to feel the bliss body, first, you must truly accept the Kundalini energy on a collective scale and on an individual scale has to be risen, because it's the only way that all of that energy that's at the base of the spine, that's at the root, what it does, it finally flows up. So as I remember in the old age, the Piscean age, they were siphoning our Kundalini because we were sending energy up to their different gods that they set up to keep siphoning and bringing our energy up. They were essentially causing a false Kundalini. I mean, it was real because we were sending it, but it was false because it did not come from within, right? So they were receiving Kundalini energy from us that whole age. That whole age, we were giving them Kundalini energy, and we could never have this energy for ourselves because it was being siphoned through their religious templates and lies. And so now the Kundalini, right, we are rising that from within. And when we do, and when you reach your individual Kundalini, you will enter into a bliss body. The bliss body is the Christ consciousness. It's the Christ light that runs inside of you, and it exudes externally as well, but it goes from the inside out, not the outside in. So we are to reach this bliss body. But we are to reach the bliss body by doing the work, by ascending through the chakras, right? And by allowing that energy to rise from the base of the spine to hit the pineal gland. And now it opens us up to the new expanded consciousness, right? And now we're living as the God Seven or self-mastery, right? And that energy cycles, right, within self to now go out, right? To now go out in creation. And this is how everything will be at a certain vibratory state on the new earth timeline. It's because it's now truly birth of pure Kundalini, right? And so what they've found out, what the people, the entities in the underworld found out, the elites, they went to retreat for a moment in the underworld to get their plan back together. This other portal that they are trying to get into is the love and light community because it mimics the Kundalini. It looks like these people are in a blissed out state. It looks like they're totally riding the bliss waves, right, of creation. But it's more, and I'm not saying it's a cult, but it's more of they've gotten there through artificial ways. They did not get there by the true Kundalini, which takes works, which takes years, which takes you overcoming, which takes you going from survival mode to going into the I am. And it's a process to get there. So the new way that these elitists will be coming through the back door into the, what do you call it, into the new age. But the new age does not account for the real age, which is the old ways of you just being the human technology. There shouldn't be anything external that you're reaching for. All the work is done inside of the physical body. Once the work is done inside of the physical body, and then things change in your external world. But in the new age, just the love and light, no, just get on our vibration. Just jump here. Just jump at this vibration. And it's all hippie love and light, but without much of the work to actually sustain that, right? And it will appear that everyone there is blissed out. And it will appear that they are in this Christ vibration, in the God Seven vibration. But the only way to truly be there is to do the work, and is to ascend down from the root, then the sacral, then the solar, then the heart, and so forth. It's the only pathway there. And that is not for the weak, because along your journey, you're going to be healing ancestral, like curses, if you will, generational curses, unhealed energy that just keeps getting passed down is all that it truly is. This is what happens. You're going to have healed all of the different elements because all of the chakras represent a certain element. So it's true work that is refining every part of you. So when you finally do get to the true Kundalini, this is what produces the bliss body. It's your infinite intelligence The self-mastery is just a light that shines and that can never be put out because it is powered by something beyond. The Kundalini energy is beyond. It can't be falsified. It's the merger of spiritual essence and energy with your own life force. So at that point, you become one with the infinite. You become one with source. And this is why it totally creates a bliss body, which is living in the Christ consciousness. And so that's the true way. But what they figured out is if we hide in New Age, and this is why you get a lot of people some people online, there's those videos. I left the New Age and I went back to Christianity. Do you see the trick? The reason why they're going back is because they're still in a false system that's still being upheld by the same old people that were siphoning. And the only vibration or frequency that they can follow is the frequency that leads them back to religion. But what they don't realize is that it's the same people. It's the same thing. You've just replaced one thing to the next. So this is their plan. This is their plan. And this is why it's important to tear down every structure. And one of my missions is actually to dismantle religion. And it wasn't something I came up with. It's the purpose. One of the purposes I have as Mother of the Ages, because religion can't be in the new earth because it keeps us locked out of oneness. You were always complete and you were never fragmented. You were always birth of source codes. It was never ever external. And so we have to not only dismantle that, but anything that looks like it, looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it must be dismantled because religion operates on fear. And even when you go into the New Age, it's if you have any thought of fear, then you're not blissed out like us. You're not on the higher, hippie timeline where it's all love and light and flowers and candy over here. And we're just ignoring the swords, obviously being thrown at us, We have to account for everything. The evil one, remember, is in everything, and it's very sophisticated, and it will show up as a beacon of light. It will always show up as light. It will always show up with sweet, sweet words. That is what it's designed to do. So it was very important for me to bring this to you guys and let you know that evil is trying to find a back door in to the new earth. And what they want is to use the new age. And because the new age feels like the same vibration of religion, this is why they're able to shift there without needing to fuse with another reproductive cell. So remember, Source was talking about the spores. Spores are reproductive cells that can develop into new individuals without needing to fuse with another reproductive cell. This is why they don't need to, because it's the same old vibration that they're using. Because truly, to birth something new, one energy signature with another energy signature always births something new. Therefore, 1 + 1 is always 3, not 2. So that's what's happening. I want to see more about what is the new age? What is it? Well, first of all, they call it a movement, right? And, people oftentimes will mistake the new age with this, but this isn't the new age. This is just how things always been. We've always been the technology. Source has always been inside of you. You've always been part of source. There's no way to divide that, right? So I'm trying to find out what the new age truly is, because I don't even understand. Okay, so hold on, let me read this really quickly. Okay, so what they're saying is it's a diverse collection of spiritual, religious, and philosophical beliefs and practices that emerged in the 1970s and 80s, particularly in Western society, characterized by a blend of ancient and modern influences, emphasizing spirituality, holistic health, personal transformation. While not a single ununified religion, it draws from various sources like esoteric traditions, counterculture, and human potential movement. Okay, I'm going to call BS on this. I'm going to call BS on this, guys. Remember, I told you, AI's in on it, and everyone's in on it to keep you away from yourself, right? So there will be a fine line between you returning home to yourself and you in a new age movement. And I'm going to tell you how to differentiate the two. And it's very simple. In the new age, it does not account for the divine flame of source. If you look in the sun is not just yellow or golden. The sun has little specks of red. It has little spots of fire in there. It has other little colors in there too. This is the difference. And it may feel similar, may look similar, but it's worlds apart. The new age, they won't account for the flame. They won't account for the different variations of source. They will only look at it with a blanketed look and say that this is, oh no, it's just a bright sun. It's just all love and bliss and nothing else is involved, when in truth, it takes coolness and fire to create a sun. And as much as people don't want to experience the polarities, it allows us to gauge what's good and what's bad. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to stay in what's bad, but it allows for us to decide. And it's a fine line. And what source has said, this is how you will know the difference. Anyone saying, oh, just no fear, release it, without you even going through the process to release it. Like instantly, no, just poof, it's gone. It's just all love. No, the true expanded consciousness is you taking yourself through the different energy portals inside of your body, looking inside of the dark little holes, opening that up and cleansing it now to move that Kundalini energy up through healing. This is how we actually get the Kundalini up. We have to heal, and that's what brings it up. And so we know that there are hot spots, right? And this will be the difference between the two. But it will look same. And the energy of where we're going, guys, it's that woe to those who call good evil and evil good. This is truly where we are. Even people in your life, as you want to do a good thing for them, they will call it evil. Because what I'm telling you is there is a fine line between the two. And this is the energy that's being presented in this new season where you're going to have keen discernment. It's not going to be the obvious anymore, the obvious bad and good. I mean, you know what that is. It's going to be when the darkness is in the light and it's totally hidden within the light. This is when you have to drop down into your other senses, the clairsentience, to be able to feel the claircognizant, the clear knowing, to be able to hear the clear audience. This is when you drop down into the other senses and going beyond the five senses, because the old five senses is the old world. We have to now go beyond that. We are in this, we have to go into the seventh vibration, into self-mastery, into God 7, right? Because it's just one little notch now. It's not the like totally wide anymore, right? So it's just one little notch in between good and evil, right from wrong, right? And know that the devil will have sweet lips. It will have sweet words. It won't ever tell you about the healing and the work and what you have to go through to get there. It will just say, no, get there. Just hold the frequency already. Just be there. This is what I'm talking about. This is really truly the new age. You don't necessarily have to do all the work. You just have to believe, right? Just have to believe. And which was the problem with the old age of religion. All you must do is believe in it. Exert your energy out to us. We'll take care of it all. The false kundalini, because a kundalini can only rise when you do the work, chakra by chakra by chakra. And it's hell to pay. You have to earn each one. Each one is a passage to the next one. And this is how you will know the difference. This is how you will know. Very, very, very beautiful, guys. Let me see if I can pull a message here from the Cosmic Bible. Give me a second. Okay, I just, I opened this up in the beginning of before I got on here, but I never looked down to read it. So I'm reading from the bottom of page 112, right? In the Cosmic Bible. One moment. One second. So Mother Ethereal says, that's the new world, talking about Antarctica. That's the new world. Everything is larger over there. So you will also need to be larger. There will be no such thing as perception anymore. There will be no such thing as limiting beliefs anymore. For instance, when someone meditates, they feel larger energetically, but physically they are still the same. But on the other side of the ice wall, which is actually the energy of the new earth, right? One will be physically larger. Look at this. Your five senses will not function the same either. What did I just say? So we got to go beyond the five senses because really they're just one big energy portal too. On the other side of the ice wall, you don't have to wait to grow. You just think it and you become it. One will not be limited in height. In fact, there will be no limitations. It's total freedom. It's a world that is hard to conceive. When you think it, it happens. And you do not think negatively. So anything that is thought of will always be pleasing and joyful. The joys of life my children will have, yes, they will have. But how do we get there? The ones of us that are going to this, we had to get there by doing the work. See what I'm saying? How much work it took to heal thyself, to heal bloodline, to heal generations. I've been doing this work since my early 20s and I'm still going. There's still more work to do. So this is the reward. When you get there, it is a whole new world, but you're on the new earth. This is the difference. The new age where they want to hide is still here in the 3D. It's still a movement. It's still something external that mimics the light. Remember, I said it will be very close. But the difference is you didn't do the work to get there. You're not in the expanded consciousness. You're just saying that you are. You're just faking it till you make it, which is those old Hollywood tricks. This is the difference. Once you do the work, we're talking about the ones that are going into group consciousness. This is what they will be getting, and it will not be without work. And this book outlines what that work is. Clearing out the sacral chakra, for instance, to attune yourself to the new frequency that will even plug you in to the vibrational wave of the new earth. There's so much work to do. But the difference will be where these people are hiding, these elitists, right? They're going to be hiding in the new age that, see, they don't want you to actually technically do the work, even though the definition says that it's a holistic health is part of it, but personal transformation and all of that. But when you really look at that and you really kind of go into people that are kind of on that movement, they don't actually tell you anything that's not pleasing. If you notice, they motivate you that you can just do this like that. They'll have like whole like seminars and conferences and rallies and rallying people up, but no one ever says you're going to go through many trials and tribulations. When you have in your true kundalini, you might experience like you're dying. You might feel that you're dying. They will never sell that to people if they told you the truth about ascension. It's dirty work. It's dirty work, but it not only heals you, it heals whole bloodlines, whole templates. They don't tell you about standing in the gap and that you may sacrifice yourself for the greater good of other people. They don't tell you about that. It's just total, hey, let's get here now. It's all blissed out right now. All you have to do is change your mind, just reprogram that subconscious mind, and that's it. They don't tell you about the falling away of when those thought forms start to fall away and the energy that brings. When we start to unleash things from the subconscious, where does it go? Where does the energy go? Sometimes it goes and it causes chaos, not on purpose to cause chaos in your life, because the new energy that you released is still passing through the timeline, and it needs time to dissolve out because you haven't attuned yourself all the way to the higher frequency of thought. And so while you are waiting for that to happen, that natural occurrence of expansion, this energy that you just vented out, that sometimes the thoughts are not good. They are the things that need to come out to be purged out and even given to you from generations back when. This is why your life is also to experiencing chaos. It's because you are doing the work. It's messy. The work is messy, but the work is purposeful. And when we finally get through all that, we do get to experience this new vibration of the new earth, which it will be magical. But it's because we did the work to ascend and allow the natural flow of the Kundalini. We went through every bit of ourselves and refined that. And it was hard work. And this will be the difference between you being in the sovereign essence of just returning back into self, back into source, and the new age. The new age will not tell you about how messy and hard and how this is going to take everything you got. And it feels good when people tell you can do this, but this is why I always, sometimes my messages can be a little dark, but We have to account for that because this is also part of our creation. The dark, the fire refines. We need it to refine. Right? And sometimes too much light can hide things too. You don't want just all light because sometimes that blots out things that you need to see. Right? And so I'm gonna probably leave this here today. I mean, there's so much more I could say. I didn't even get to the rest of this. Give me a second. Okay, let me just read this. So this is a new being that enters into my auric field, and I'm picking up on the energy, but I don't know who quite it is. And they kind of piggyback off of what Mother Theria was saying and start talking about the new earth, right? So you won't physically change locations, top of 113. Rather, everything will be brought into your awareness. On the real earth, there is a huge projector-like screen atmosphere that allows one to project images from the inside out. Remember, it's all about the inside work now going out, not the reverse. That will allow one to project images from the inside out. Once everything spills over, my chosen ones are going to perceive the energy of where they want to go and instantly be there. Did you catch that? We're not going to just say, hey, get to the higher vibration, right? On the new age. What did Source say here? We're going to perceive the energy of where we want to go. And then we're going to instantly be there. You have to develop perception. You have to have the ability to perceive. What is that? Going beyond the five senses, which is by definition, having a sixth sense, which is having a sixth sense is having a psychic ability. Do you see where I'm going with this? You can't get to New Earth without turning on your sixth sense, because you would need the ability to perceive the energy that you want to go in order for it to manifest. This is going to be the difference, and it's going to look similar. But if you notice the little gems in here of what Spirit is truly saying, you can catch the message, right? Perceive it. For instance, on the other side of the ice wall, your thoughts are being reflected outwardly onto a blank canvas. However, when the spillover happens, so this is the new earth, one will sense the energy in their auric field. This is the sixth sense coming online. Things and objects will be perceived around you. And this is how you bring them into your reality. It will happen with ease. It will happen with much ease, simply because you have developed your sixth sense. You're not getting to New Earth any other way, because you have to get onto the vibrational thought wave that takes you there. And that's what we're attuning ourselves to now. You're not getting to New Earth, don't care what no one says, unless you have a sixth sense. Unless you have psychic gifts and abilities, you're not going. It's not going to happen. Because you have no sense of perception to even perceive the sixth sense, to even now manifest that into your own reality. So this will be the difference. The difference is the people in the new age, they don't tell you you have to die to yourself, ascend through the chakras, develop your psychic gifts and abilities. Once the Kundalini rises and now it sits at the pineal gland, it turns on your intuition and opens now up the crown to spiritual mastery and communion with not only the masculine and feminine aspects of yourself, but communion with Source Divine, wisdom, and infinite intelligence. It's the only way to get there. You can't buy your way in there with these, what do you call it? Those rallies that they have that cost like $40,000. And you can't buy yourself in there, live off of the vibrations and the vibes of the crowd. It won't work. You have to belong to the frequency by doing the work, right? And so that will be the difference. And this is how you're going to know of where they're hidden, because it's the same vibration of the religion. It's external, external, external. Just reach for the higher vibration. Don't worry about ascending through that root chakra. Don't worry about any of that and going through the pains and the woes of that. Just say you're there, go into your meditations and be there and see it now. Don't do the work though. We don't want you looking around in there, because you're going to see your power, right? And it's the same thing with religion. And I think I have said it. I think I have said it. Master's Light. What? Hi, Master's Light. Beautiful afternoon. And for Tahirah, thank you so much. Yes, it's going to be higher and less dense. Yes, 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 yes. More bodily mobility and freedom, greater creativity. Yes, yes. And that creativity is going to come from this new frequency that we're getting by cleansing out our sacral chakra. And it does outline that in the Great Expansion, guys. Guys, this has been beautiful. Thanks for hanging out with me for 2 videos in a row. And I think I'm going to get out of here. I've been working all day, even though it's a weekend. And I'm getting quite tired. But this ancestor looks a lot happier. She was carrying a lot of those old codes. But this was the first time, guys, when I went into that template. Woo, 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 that underbelly template, it was heavy. I had to use sound vibration to get there. And this is a skill set that's coming online for me, sound healing, right? Using the vibrational tongue, right? So it's a little different from the light language, which I actually speak, you know, in a galactic tongue. This is, I'm using vibration to actually move energy. And that's very cool. And when you step onto this path, I look like I'm holding an award. Yes, guys. And thank you guys so much. I want to thank all the constituents and everyone that believed in me as a child. I want to thank you guys so much. And it would not, none of this would be possible without the love of my beautiful family. Thank you so much. No, I'm serious, guys, but no, that's what it feels like. No, and I think that the ancestors are telling me you've won the award. Thank you. There, I knew there was a tear coming. Y'all know I'm dramatic, right? You know, y'all know I'm dramatic, right? I knew something was coming, was brewing from within my spirit. I think the ancestors always knew I would figure this out, honestly. And I think this thing was collecting a lot of energy from my family, my mother's line. And it was just waiting for this ordained time to be cleansed from it, because it was part of the collective cleansing that will lead to the true Kundalini, to the true new expanded consciousness. It's kind of what I'm calling the new earth. It's an expanded consciousness. It's kind of what I feel led to call it, because I think that maybe the new age has soiled it, even though I've been kind of one of the people heading the new earth template. And I know a lot of you guys have been doing that too. And we are template. We are the ones creating the mold, creating the template. But this is an award really, truly for all of us light workers who truly, you know, ascended, and we overcame through our tears. We felt the pain, we felt every bit of it, and we transcended that into light. And I think that's what the ancestors truly want to say, because it's when we do the work, it does the work on the collective soul body. And there are no gaps in source. There's no gaps. And when you do the work and you don't miss a step, then the work is done correctly in the Akashic soul as well. So thank you guys. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you for teaching. Oh, her green is brighter. Yes. Yes, guys. And we're going to do some of this in class. And next week, hopefully you guys have did the video where I'm opening your psychic channels. Just put your headphones on and you're going to feel your third eye being open and your crown and all of that. And all you need to do is receive that. And so in class, we're going to be working on using our psychokinesis on some of these objects. And I think we might use this ancestor here. I think she's ready. She's ready for it. Okay. Um, all right, guys, this has been beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here and enjoy the rest of what's left of this beautiful day. And I love you guys so very much. Love is the way. Forgiveness is the key. And truth is the light that will always, always guide us home. Be well. Be well, guys. Bye.